we get them, but right now it's 9 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight.
When it comes to China, the UK needs to defend itself resolutely against threats and seize the opportunities that demonstrably serve our nation.
The Chinese have been spying on us, so I took revenge. We just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets, that's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are? Yes, absolutely. They hacked our computers, but two can play at that game. We're just here to have a look at the computers. Computers? Yeah, we just got a call back to base just to say that there's been an issue with some of the software. I think they should be expecting me. And I have mastered the art of spycraft. The Yangtze River is running upstream today. No? No? Have you got the package? But in other news,
I've started a petition to boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv. There is no space for violence or any thugs to come into Aston or indeed Birmingham. That is why I urge everyone to sign up to this petition. Boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv.
That is an absolute load of rubbish, but now no Israeli fans can travel to Birmingham because police can't guarantee their safety.
Both the immigration and their suicidal energy ideas will be the death of Western Europe if something is not done immediately.
President Trump is offering asylum to Europeans fleeing the migrant crisis. On my panel tonight, we have got broadcaster Linda Jubilee, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes, Ellie Wheatley, and the ex-Labour Party advisor Matthew Laza. Get ready, Britain. Here we go. A Gaza gang MP has helped ban Jewish football fans from Britain. Next.
Very good evening to you from the newsroom just after 9 o'clock. The top story tonight, Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have been banned from Aston Villa's Europa League clash in Birmingham over safety fears. Police have labelled that match high risk after anti-Semitic attacks on Israeli fans at a game in Amsterdam last year. The move has triggered outrage, with Tory leader Kemi Badenoch calling it a national disgrace, while Israel's foreign minister has said it is shameful. Jewish groups, meanwhile, say it's perverse that fans are being excluded rather than authorities tackling anti-Semitism. Breaking tonight, Donald Trump has said he has made great progress with Vladimir Putin after a 2.5-hour call between the two leaders. They've agreed to meet in Budapest for a sit-down that Mr. Trump says he hopes could help bring the war to an end. Their call also set up high-level talks next week, led by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The US president says he'll brief Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House tomorrow and still believes, he says, that he can get both men in the same room. Ukraine's president will be there, seeking, of course, fresh US support after Russia launched one of its biggest overnight assaults. And due to those Russian attacks, emergency power outages have now been implemented across all regions of Ukraine. Earlier, Mr. Trump warned he could send long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine if Putin refuses peace talks, and if approved, that move would put Moscow and other major Russian cities within striking range. Here, MI5's boss says the agency is facing one of the most dangerous periods since 9/11, with near-record levels of terror investigations and fast and rising threats from hostile states. Ken McCullum has warned state actors from China, Russia and Iran are stepping up espionage, with MI5 disrupting Chinese activity of national security concern in just the past week. In his annual speech, he revealed agents have foiled 19 late-stage terror plots since 2020. McCullum also says MI5's mission has undergone its biggest shift in 2 decades.
MI5's fight against terrorism remains intense. My teams are running near-record volumes of investigations. But we are also having to contend with a second menace of equal or even greater scale in fast-rising state threats. In 2025, a more hostile world is forcing the biggest shifts in MI5's mission since 9/11.
MPs, meanwhile, are launching a formal inquiry into the collapsed China spy case as pressure mounts on the government to explain what went wrong. The Joint Committee on National Security Strategy says it will examine how the case was handled and the national security questions it's now raised. It follows the Prime Minister releasing 3 witness statements from the case after being accused of a cover-up. He insists, though, it would have been absurd for him to intervene in a CPS investigation. The 2 men accused of spying, Mr Cash and Mr Berry, have denied any wrongdoing. Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride spoke to us earlier here on GB News.
National Security Advisor, you would think, would be across something as significant as this, but the suggestion is that it was all weighted or focused on his deputy, a civil servant, and I think most people would say that just sounds totally incredulous. Look, it does feel a bit like a cover-up. We've had a Prime Minister that just 48 hours ago was telling us that the evidence that's now been released could not be released, and yet changed his position yesterday in Prime Minister's questions. What we are saying is let's get to the bottom of exactly what happened. Let's have that information. Let's have the correspondence, the memos, etc. Around this activity so that we can make a proper assessment.
And Chancellor Rachel Reeves says higher taxes on Britain's wealthiest will form part of next month's budget, as she's vowed to fix the nation's finances without a return to austerity. Speaking in Washington at IMF meetings, Rachel Reeves dismissed what she called the scaremongering and bleating of her critics, insisting her plans are about fairness and stability. She hinted that the top earners will shoulder more of the burden to repair the public purse. Conservative leader Kemi Badenoch, though, says the Chancellor has made a huge mess and doesn't know how to clean it up. Well, let's also just quickly bring you a breaking development on that situation where Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have been banned tonight from Aston Villa's Europa League clash in Birmingham over security fears. A statement just in on social media from the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, saying, and I quote, "This is the wrong decision." Continuing, "We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets," and adds that the role of the police is to ensure all football fans can enjoy the game without fear of violence or intimidation. So the Prime Minister there giving his thoughts on the situation, saying that the decision to ban Tel Aviv fans from that Europa League match is the wrong decision. That's the news on GB News. I'll hand you straight back now to Patrick.
Yes, good evening. We do start with that breaking news that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans have been banned from Aston Villa's Europa League clash in Birmingham over, quotes, safety fears. So
many residents have raised concerns about the football match, which is due to take place on the 6th of November. Maccabi Tel Aviv. We've all seen those harrowing images from Amsterdam. I've started a petition to boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv. There is no space for violence or any thugs to come into Aston or indeed Birmingham. That is why I urge everyone to sign up to this petition. Boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Yes, so Jews aren't safe in Birmingham. Aston Villa Football Club were due to play Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. That was local MP Ayub Khan, one of the infamous Gaza gang, and he did that ridiculous video. And then now this has happened, hasn't it? This is a statement from West Midlands Police. This decision is based on current intelligence and previous incidents, including violent clashes and hate crime offences that occurred during the 2024 Europa League match between Ajax and Maccabi Tel Aviv in Amsterdam. Based on our professional judgment, we believe this measure will help mitigate risks to public safety. While the safety certificate is issued by Birmingham City Council, West Midlands Police supports the decision to prohibit any away supporters from attending. Well, I'm just going to pick up a little bit more on that statement in a second, but who is celebrating this decision? Well, it's Gaza gang MP Ayub Khan again, isn't it? I welcome the news that Maccabi Tel Aviv fans will not be permitted to watch the match. This is disgusting, OK? It's not really about safety. We all know what this is about. We all know. Do you remember when Robert Jenrick was slammed for saying this?
In the hour and a half that I was filming with news there, I didn't see another white face. And that's not the kind of country I want to live in. I want to live in a country where people are properly integrated. It's not about the colour of your skin or your faith. Of course it isn't. But I want people to be living alongside each other, not parallel lives. That's not the right way we want to live as a country.
He was was attacked for pointing out that parts of Birmingham hadn't integrated, and now Jewish fans are not allowed there because they won't be safe. And it is not the first time that they've faced issues. You heard the Metropolitan Police there, and you heard Ayub Khan making reference to something that went on in Amsterdam. However, the clips of what actually happened that night tell a very, very different story. In Amsterdam, some foreign-looking men went on a Jew hunt.
Is that good? Charmota, pensona.
That's what happened to the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans in Amsterdam, and today the government released this statement.
We have to step up in relation to defeating anti-Semitism. Action is what matters, and we're absolutely committed to that. The discussion we've had this morning was not about words. It was about what are the actions that are going to follow through from this.
Right, there you go. He's going to step up to the plate. He's going to step up to the plate, protect the Jewish community. No room for anti-Semitism. Well, there we go. Now, Jewish fans can't come to a football match in Birmingham because they won't be safe. Well done, Sir Keir Starmer and co. Well done, all those bleeding heart Liberals. I tell you what, I can't wait for Gary Neville's statement about angry middle-aged white men in Birmingham putting Tel Aviv fans at risk. And speaking tonight, by the way, in fact, this was literally just a minute ago, Sir Keir Starmer, the Prime Minister, said, this is the wrong decision to ban the game. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. The role of the police is to ensure all football fans can enjoy the game without fear of violence or intimidation. Who is going to commit that violence in Birmingham, out of interest? And by the way, I am not trying to have a go at Aston Villa fans here, because I don't really think it's all of you who are to blame here. Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We have got journalist and broadcaster Linda Jubilee, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes, Ellie Wheatley, and former Labour advisor Matthew Larzer. Right, so, Linda, I mean, they can talk all they want, can't they? People like Ayub Khan saying, oh, you know, good, because the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans, they can't be trusted. I mean, we saw what actually happened in Amsterdam, where they were basically lynched by a load of people who I'm convinced weren't actually Ajax fans, but had travelled into the area, some of them there, because they didn't like Jews. And now, right here in Birmingham, it's saying, basically, there's a big sign there, isn't there, that says that Jews aren't safe.
It's shocking that this should be going on in our country. When I first heard this, I thought, actually, I can understand West Midlands Police if there is a genuine concern about widespread wholesale violence. Maybe there's a practical consideration we have to take on board here. But actually, it can't be beyond the ken of the West Midlands Police Force to protect these people from whatever violence they're threatened with, because I just don't think we should be giving into this right now. It's shameful and it's shocking on our streets.
Yeah, it is. And you've got the Gaza Gang MPs, a procession of them, Iqbal Mohammed queuing up. You've got Adnan Hussein as well, celebrating his decision, saying things like, this is great, either saying that the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are a load of thugs, and all right, OK, look, there will no doubt amongst any section of any football team's fans, there's obviously maybe an aspect of thuggery. I'm not trying to say that, you know, everyone's completely blameless here, but what I am saying is they're ignoring the real problem, which is that clearly there was a fear that hordes of the pro-Gaza community in Birmingham would have turned up and tried to batter the Jewish fans.
I think it's absolutely shocking that when Jews had threats against them, the police decided, we're going to ban them. I mean, what does that say? That does not help any problems of anti-Semitism. That just perpetuates it. And it's shocking that the offenders are the ones that are not removed. It's the victims that are removed from this. And the Gaza Gang MPs and Ayub Khan, etc., celebrating it is shameful. It's awful that football fans cannot go and celebrate football games.
And it's going to amplify the real fear that the Jewish community already feels now about being in this country.
This, Keir Starmer released a few statements today. One of them was about the attack at the Manchester synagogue. I don't recall him naming Islamist terrorism there. He said it was a terror attack. It can't say the word Islamist, of course. And then now on this one, this is the wrong decision. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. The role of police to ensure football fans can enjoy the game. Why is he not going to call out really, especially in that area of Birmingham, which section of society it is that would pose a threat to the Jewish fans?
Well, the most, I mean, I think you said in your introduction, Patrick, that Keir Starmer needed to step up to the plate, and I think he was literally, as you're speaking, stepping up to the plate. I'm very pleased to see that very strongly worded statement from the Prime Minister. I suspect this decision will not be in place tomorrow. Either, if there is, as Linda was saying, a very particular safety threat, then the game needs to be moved, or it needs to be played with no fans. But you can't exclude one set of fans.
Side.
Absolutely. So the Prime Minister needs to back that statement up, and the government does with action.
Just on this, right? So you've got this is the Prime Minister's Twitter feed, okay, and you've got the one tweet there: tackling anti-Semitism is in our society is a national effort that this government will lead. 4 hours later, it turns out that West Midlands Police have banned Jewish fans because they can't be kept safe.
Yeah, that's photo-op didn't do.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair to Keir Starmer, he won't have. The government doesn't make the decisions for West Midlands Police.
Civil servant.
Absolutely, and clearly, I suspect that Keir Starmer is as angry as we are about the decision. Let's hope that anger translates into action. Just to say about it was a bit more than you're right. Obviously, it was a photo op, but it was £10 million extra announced today to the Community Security Trust, which is a Jewish-run organisation. Absolutely, and I think there will be heads will be knocked together.
None of that matters unless we don't actually call out and deal with the real issue at play here. Robert Jenrick was absolutely slammed by the lovely Liberal elite for daring to say, actually, there are parts of Birmingham where, when he said, "Oh, UK," we didn't really see a white face. He was talking about integration and multiculturalism not particularly working there, and there being enclaves, etc., which anyone who's ever been to Birmingham will tell you is just true. It is true. And he was called out for that, and now here we are. All right. He was right, wasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, what he did was he made an observation. That's all he did. I can remember as a kid, I used to visit my grandmother in Ealing, and I drove from Uxbridge. My parents drove from Uxbridge to Ealing. We passed through Southall. And I can remember saying there was not a single white face in the whole of Southall. It looked like I'd been driving through Calcutta. And you know, I'd be castigated for saying that now, but it is just an observation. It just means that those people live there. Now, the trick is to actually give them the kind of support, like learning English, ESOL lessons, where they need to integrate. We need to make sure integration happens. Immigration needs to be restricted.
I don't think you can train out generations of inbuilt anti-Semitism, though.
Oh, no, that's a much harder thing to do.
There are parts of the world where anti-Semitism is
I agree.
encouraged. And I would argue one of those parts of the world is Pakistan, and Pakistan has a huge population in Birmingham around that.
Yeah, that's very true.
Around that stadium.
Yeah, that's a fair point, and education around these sorts of issues and making sure that people do integrate, which is exactly what Jenrick was talking about, is crucial. And this is a real sort of acid test for Starmer at the moment, because he can tweet all he likes, he can say this is the wrong decision, but what's he actually going to do about it? Where is the robust plan to root out anti-Semitism in this country, not just in Birmingham, but also obviously Manchester and London?
Yeah. Well, what message does this send to wider society in Britain, but also about Britain to the world, Matthew? So, you know, what this has said to me anyway is that if you get a load of people to sign a petition and you lobby the police force enough, you will be able to block Jews, basically, or Israeli-born football fans from coming to Britain.
Yeah, and of course, a lot of those fans will be British Jews, and so, you know, it is absolutely disgraceful. But I think it sends a terrible message, and I think that we need to also, just on Ayub Khan, the MP, I think we need to make sure that he is a parliamentary leper. There was a by-election there was an election in the 1964 election in Smethwick down the road where a phrase I'm not going to use, that if you vote Labour, you're going to get somebody for a neighbour. And the guy who won that was literally just treated like nobody would speak to him in Parliament. All parties ignored him, including his own. He was a Tory. We need that with Ayub Khan. And people like Jeremy Corbyn need to be distancing themselves from Ayub Khan and Zahra Sultana.
Exactly right.
I mean, so, you know, I mean, Keir Starmer appears to be trying to put some pressure on the police to change their decision with his statement. I'll just read it again. I think I've read it before. I'll read it again. This is the wrong decision. We will not tolerate anti-Semitism on our streets. The role of the police is to ensure all football fans can enjoy the game without fear of violence or intimidation. So, yeah, I mean, so he is No, I don't know how else to interpret that, to be honest with you. He's saying that. He seems to be saying it's the wrong decision.
He can say that, but he's got to actually...
I mean, I think we need to give him over... I mean, you're right. It needs to be, I think we need to give him... It's spoken in the last hour or so. I think we need to give him until tomorrow morning. Let's hope the decision has changed. Can I just say, if it was reversed, if you reversed the language, OK, and said that, you know, a game was being played in North London, which is a very strong Jewish community, and you didn't want to have fans of a team from a Muslim-majority country, can you imagine? And that's, you know, and so I think that the test for anything is, what would you do if you reversed it? And this doesn't pass that test at all.
No, I just think it's incredibly worrying. It's maddening, really, and there are going to have to be question marks. You look at some of the people that are celebrating this now, and I just wonder if they're fit to be MPs.
I don't think that's what I'm saying. I don't think he is.
He's fit to be an MP.
But they're all in that bizarre lefty, your party that's not actually named.
Still hasn't got a name,
sort of fallen out. And
I mean, look, this is the thing. And again, people will be able to point to incidents, as you'll be from any football team anywhere around the world where there are pockets of fans that go and cause trouble, they have too much to drink or do this, that and the other. I'm not here to wholesale say, I'm sure every single fan of Maccabi Tel Aviv is an absolutely wonderful person. No, OK, fair enough. But I don't think we can realistically think that it is a genuine... When people are saying they can't be allowed to come in because of safety concerns, I'm sorry, I don't buy that. What I hear is that you don't want them here because...
And actually, what are the police there for? What are the police there for?
But we have these sort of fixtures all the time in the UK. We have, like, the best sort of policing systems around football matches because, you know, they happen all the time. I think it's total nonsense that they couldn't...
The one good thing that was announced today was that because we obviously just discussed this programme a lot, the anti-Semitism in the NHS, they put John Mann, the anti-Semitism czar, who's I've known for 30 years, and he's don't take no nonsense, in charge of rooting that out in the NHS.
All right, OK, look, we'll get more on this as the show develops. You know, potentially, I don't know, West Midlands Police might reverse their decision or something. We'll bring that to you. Loads on, including... I decided to tip up at the Chinese embassy earlier today and give them a taste of their own medicine. But before that, it's the Great British Giveaway. Massive motorhome, loads of cash. Here's AKB, and it's a win it.
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benamar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th of November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Right, here's a little bit about what I've got coming up. Rachel Reeves has basically told us all to stop caring about the fact she's tanked the economy, but before that...
It's time to end the failed experiment of open borders. You have to end it now. See, I can tell you. I'm really good at this stuff. Your countries are going to hell.
Get this, President Trump is offering asylum to Europeans who are being persecuted for their beliefs. Gosh, I can think of a few Brits who might apply to that one. Stay tuned.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
No,
because the failure is
you're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back,
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
and we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Dubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk
No,
now?
that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
The Yangtze River is running upstream today. No? No? Have you got the package? Yes, welcome back. I went undercover and paid a visit to the Chinese embassy and their diplomats earlier today. More on that shortly. But first, should Brits who are anti-immigration, anti-Labour, seek refuge in President Trump's America? He's offering it. Time for that to head. So apparently President Trump is considering offering political asylum to Europeans who oppose mass migration. This overhaul of the American immigration system would also give preference to English speakers as well as white South Africans, actually. The US president has been advised to prioritise those who have been targeted for peaceful expression of views online. So who do we know who might be eligible? I mean, surely comedy writer Graham Linehan, he would be top of the list, isn't he? I suppose he's fallen foul of some of the free speech law. A man who was cancelled, prosecuted and hounded for refusing to back down and say that men could become women. What about journalist Alison Pearson? Last year on Remembrance Sunday, Essex police knocked on her door over a tweet they claim stirred racial hatred. The case then, of course, was dropped after public outcry. What about mother and childminder Lucy Connolly, jailed for 31 months over a tweet during the Southport riots, which she later deleted? So, look, I'm asking this. Is it time for Brits who are anti-mass migration, anti-Labour, to go and seek refuge in President Trump's America? Joining us to discuss this is writer and broadcaster Emma Trimble and political strategist Pablo Ohana. Thank you very much. Emma, I'll start with you. What do you think about us going and seeking refuge in President Trump's America?
Well, I don't think we should jump ship. I think we should stay and fight, obviously. But I do think that this is a bit of a coup for freedom of speech, because not only does it turn free speech, as we've already seen in the last year or so, it's turned it into a big diplomatic foreign policy issue. The United Kingdom is really having its feet held to the fire. The government is having its feet held to the fire by Trump. But I think that this also, it will embolden people to actually speak freely, because they will feel that they have somewhere potentially to flee to. Trump is really sort of sticking his flag on the territory of free speech and saying America is going to stand up for freedom of speech globally. And of course, once America manages to deal with its Antifa problem, which Trump is also trying to do, then there'll be less of a chance that somebody speaking out publicly might get shot in America if they continue to do their work out there.
OK, but I mean, Pablo, look, this is the way that Britain is now viewed abroad, isn't it? Right, that if you are anti-mass migration and if you are anti-Labour, there's a chance they might lock you up, so we can go and seek political refuge in America.
Well, firstly, I think there's something deeply ironic about Donald Trump fans clamouring for the chance to flee an invented persecution in their own country to become refugees in another country, whilst complaining that immigration is too high. But listen, if you want to give up living in the greatest country in the world, then you're free to leave. But I think we have to be really careful here, because the term refugee is a legal status for people facing persecution or fleeing war. Turning it into a culture war cheapens real refugee claims. And I'm sorry, but you can't put someone who's a bit annoyed about things in the UK in the same category as a genuine Ukrainian refugee fleeing Putin's invasion. So I think we need to just keep it in perspective a little bit.
Go on, Emma.
Well, I don't know. I think if your rights are being violated and you're being locked in prison for your lawful right to express yourself freely, I mean, just look at what's been going on with issues surrounding blasphemy laws. I mean, the guy who attacked Hamid Koskan, who burnt the Quran, was let off with a suspended sentence, even though he's slashing a knife around all over the place. You know, even if that original sentence against the man who burnt the Quran, even though that was overturned on free speech grounds, the process is part of the punishment. If you were to go and burn a Quran, or even something more tame like showing a picture of the Prophet Muhammad, just look at the teacher in Batley who's still in hiding for his own life. I mean, he is exactly the sort of person who should be, on Trump's list of people to seek asylum.
That's a great point. So, Pablo, do you think President Trump will be right to offer asylum to that teacher in Batley who is having showed a picture of the Prophet Muhammad to some kids, is now in hiding, his whole family are in hiding? Surely he could go and seek refuge in Trump's America, couldn't he?
No, I think, listen, we have to be
live
really
with the fatwa.
We have to be really, really clear about the definitions here. The United Kingdom does not have a free speech problem. Our democracy and this country is absolutely fine. Yes, we have issues like every country, but trust me, the US has a lot of problems too. From everything, healthcare, don't even get started on that, expenses and excesses of $500 for a simple filling on top of your insurance. Someone is shot every 5 minutes. Listen, it's easy to make this kind of grass is greener argument, but the UK is a great country, and I'm really sorry that some people are not happy here, and there are legitimate concerns that need to be addressed. But if you think that moving to the US is going to solve everything, then you're going to be disappointed.
All right, go on, very quick, Emma, and then we've got to go. Go on.
Well, I mean, he talks about the irony of people who are who criticise refugees seeking refuge abroad. I think it's quite ironic to be making the claim that people who come here as economic migrants can be asylum seekers, but people who are in fear of their life can't be asylum seekers. And anyway, I have my boots here just in case I ever decide to say something naughty about the Prophet Muhammad.
OK, there we go. Thank you very much, both of you. Broadcaster Emma Trimble, political strategist Pablo had great stuff. All right, so coming up at 10 p.m.
The ambassador, we just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets. That's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are?
The Chinese have been spying on us relentlessly, so today I decided to take a bit of revenge. They didn't like it. They hacked our computers, but two can play at that game. Find out what happened when I went undercover at the Chinese embassy earlier today. Before that, though... Hey, if you're worried about your money, don't. Rachel Reeves thinks you're just scaremongering and bleating about the state of the British economy. Buckle up. Next.
Be nice to escape the grey.
Clear skies, here we come.
As clear as our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Some showers heading over the Canaries over the next few days. We've seen some torrential downpours across parts of Spain and Italy recently. Things turning drier here, however. Plenty of sunshine for Spain and Portugal on Friday. And the sunshine returning to much of Italy. Still a few showers across the far south. The wet weather, though, is moving into Croatia and mainland Greece, although most of the Greek islands further east will be dry and sunny. And we'll see the sunshine returning to Dubrovnik through the weekend. Meanwhile, further showers likely in Tenerife.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations Forecast.
Hello again, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. For many it is going to be dry as we go through the rest of today and into tomorrow, though pretty cloudy and quite grey as well. That's because the high pressure, which is keeping things dry and also leading to the calm winds, is trapping some moisture, so the cloud, it's not really going to go anywhere particularly fast. That being said, there are some breaks around across some central southern parts of Scotland into northern England, perhaps some southeastern parts of England and to western Wales will see some breaks in the cloud. And where we get those breaks, well, temperatures could take a bit of a drop, could be a touch of frost, also some fog patches, so watch out for those. But most places sticking with that blanket of cloud, so temperatures not dropping much under that. There will be a few spots of rain here and there overnight, and that's the same as we go into tomorrow morning, particularly across northern and eastern parts of Scotland. A bit damp for some here. Further west and across southern parts of Scotland as well, largely dry but grey and cloudy to start the day. Similar across Northern Ireland and also similar across much of England and Wales, albeit, yes, there could be a few pockets of mist and fog around and some brighter breaks across perhaps some east and southeastern parts of England, but also a little bit of damp weather too around coastal parts towards both the east and also around some parts of the southwest. A few outbreaks of drizzly rain quite likely. Otherwise, it's again looking quite similar to today really for many. So quite grey, quite cloudy, limited bright spells developing, where you get some sunshine, feeling warmish I suppose, but temperatures around average and feeling quite cool under the cloud. A similar day on offer as we go into Saturday as well, at least to start. Later on, we are going to see some wetter weather pushing across initially Northern Ireland, but that is going to feed its way eastwards as we go through the latter part of the weekend. So Saturday, yes, largely dry, but grey and cloudy. By Sunday, things are looking wetter and windier with more showery rain to come on Monday. Bye-bye.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News,
the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world, but look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
That's all right, we're just here to have a look at the computers.
Computers?
Yeah, we just got a call back to base just to say that there's been an issue with some of the software. I think they should be expecting me. Well, there we go. I don't know about you, but I'm a little bit sick and tired of China relentlessly spying on all of us, so I decided to have a go back today. More on that very shortly. But first, the Chancellor Rachel Reeves has launched an astounding attack on her critics, accusing them of, quote, scaremongering and bleating about the economy. Yes, that's right. If you're worried about your money, don't be. You're just scaremongering. Speaking to The Guardian, obviously, she said last year when we announced things like the non-DOMs, like the VAT on private school fees, there was so much, quote, bleating that it wasn't going to raise the money that people would leave. The OBR will publish updated numbers and all of those things, and that scaremongering didn't pay off because this is a brilliant country and people want to live here. Her comments came on the same day that she admitted tax rises and spending cuts are likely in the November budget. Look, perhaps we can maybe be forgiven for, quotes, bleating. Joining us to discuss this now is economist Tom McPhail. Tom, do you think she's maybe a little bit tone deaf on this when it comes to how people are genuinely concerned about the economy and their own finances?
Well, I agree with Rachel Reeves that this is a brilliant country and people do want to live here, but you can also understand why people are getting a bit sick and tired of this kind of thing. And we saw with the school fees that resulted in thousands of parents being forced to take their children out of private schools and put them into the state system, hugely counterproductive in terms of Rachel Reeves's ambition to raise money on those school fees. We've seen her reversing things like the winter fuel allowance. She failed to get the welfare cuts through. She poured money into the public sector pay settlements very early on in the new government without extracting in return any productivity commitments. So she's made a series of missteps. You know, I mean, what else has she got left to do now but come out fighting? So I'm not surprised she's come out punchy because she's got to try and sell her narrative to population, but
it's not. The thing is, though, it's not bleating or scaremongering, is it? As you all know, for people who, due to Labour's decision when it came to things like national insurance, etc., are making people redundant. You know, and people unemployment levels are pretty high. That's not bleating and scaremongering, is it?
No, it's not. And things right from the word go, when they increased the employers' national insurance, and everybody pointed out that if you tax jobs, you will get fewer jobs. You know, and lo and behold, that's what we've seen happen. There's a lot of anxiety now about people's pensions, that the government may start raiding people's pension pots because obviously there's a lot of money there, and it's really difficult to protect it from the government. None of this is bleating. You know, she's got to raise money to meet her spending commitments. So she's got to look at things like the pensions, like maybe taxing people's houses or putting up council tax, and you can absolutely understand people being dismayed by this.
Yeah, and fundamentally as well, it's because she didn't manage to get welfare reforms through, and the Prime Minister also did not make any effort to do that because he was too politically weak to stand up to that wing of his party. The other thing I will say about this is that, you know, I don't know. I don't know what the average wealth of my viewers and listeners is, right? I don't know if I'm talking to a bunch of millionaires here or I'm talking to a bunch of people who, you know, very, very working class. I think the reality is there's probably a very broad range of people, right? But if you suck the aspiration out of a country and you start just talking really disparaging terms about people who do earn a lot of money and have accumulated a lot of savings and therefore pay a lot of tax, if you just take the attitude that, oh, well, screw them, we're just going to go and reach in and take everything, no one should be able to afford a second home, we're going to clobber you, I mean, it's not really a great thing for the country. If anything, I would say it looks a little bit evil.
Well, look, Margaret Thatcher gave us the whole economy a factory reset back in the 1980s, reintroduced a culture of low taxation, of aspiration, of entrepreneurship and growth. And look what happened. It worked. It feels like, you know, this government has forgotten that lesson that you cannot tax your way to growth, and that we're all having to watch them learn that lesson again the hard way. And yeah, it batters people down. You know, it was really good to see the Conservatives coming out and talking about scrapping stamp duty. Yeah. That kind of thing will work. Reducing business rates, that kind of thing will work. That gets people investing in businesses, getting up and working hard to earn money. To better themselves and their families. The sooner Rachel Reeves grasps that, the better we'll all be off.
It makes you want to get up and have a go in the morning. That's the thing. It's like, right, OK, there's a carrot there, not just a massive walloping stick where, you know, all right, if I go out and earn a bit of money or do this, they're going to come for 50% of it, and then my council tax is going up, and then whatever I've managed to put away, they're going to tax that as well. You know, you've got to incentivise people. And she talks about Britain being a great country. I think Britain is a great country because people do want to go and have a go. People are entrepreneurs. People are positive. People have got some great ingenious minds in this country. You need to release them, unshackle them. But Anyway, that's enough of my rant. Tom, thank you very much. Tom McFelder, economist extraordinaire. Right, now, you might have noticed that I have got a little, if I get it right, there we go, a little GB News pin on my lapel here, and it's a final reminder for you that we are giving away 1,000 exclusive GB News pin badges tonight. Yes, it's your last chance to win. This is not just a badge, this is a symbol of what we stand for here at GB News. Freedom of speech, open debate, fearless journalism. Bit more of that coming up later on, by the way, outside the Chinese embassy. I'm probably on some kind of hit list now. Wear it and show that you stand with us here at GB News. And the values, that's mine, and the values we fight for every single day. No gimmicks, no hidden costs. We're going to send out 1,000 of these fantastic badges at random to you, our brilliant viewers, to say thank you for watching GB News. So follow a QR code that hopefully will appear on your screen at some point soon, and you could be in it to win it. Yes, there you go, that's the QR code. You might only have until midnight tonight, so scan that QR code, don't miss out. Right, well, on that note, yes, talking of fearless journalism, such borderline stupidity, I think, actually, coming up at 10 p.m. The Yangtze River is running upstream today. No? No? Have you got the package? The Chinese have been relentlessly spying on us. It's a very, very serious undertone to this, by the way, and I'm going to get stuck right into our government's response to that shortly. But I decided that today I would spy on them. Find out what happened. Before that, though, well, another very serious topic, actually. The government, it seems, is letting down grooming gang victims. Big development today. I'll tell you what it was next.
I'm Michelle Dewberry. This is Jubes & Co. with you.
Hello, everyone. Patrick Christys here. GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Access the stories that matter to you. Take the GB News family with you on any device. And as long as you have an internet connection, tune in to GB News anywhere on the planet or beyond. GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints. How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News.
Britain's news channel.
Britain deserves a newsroom that puts the facts and your voice first.
Well, and that's what you get on GB News. Lively debates, lively conversation.
And we're not afraid to hold power to account.
And each other. So join me, Andrew Pierce.
And me, Miriam Gates, for Britain's Newsroom, weekdays from 9:30 on GB News.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
Only on GB News.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. Tune in to State of the Nation every Monday to Thursday, 8 to 9 o'clock. Only on GB News.
The ambassador, we just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets. That's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are? Yes, well, we've got some big developments in the old China spy scandal earlier today, but I decided to go and give them a taste of their own medicine. I don't know about you, but I'm absolutely sick of the fact that we let China do whatever the heck they want to all of us. But first, grooming gang victims have been let down by delays in implementing measures to protect them from sexual abuse. That's according to the head of the J report into child sexual exploitation in Rotherham. So Professor Alexis J said she was disappointed and frustrated that only 2 of her 20 recommendations had been implemented.
I can't account for what happened with the previous administration because it took a different pattern then. We had almost no engagement about any of it, which surprised me enormously. So there was a long silence on the part of the Home Office in particular.
Well, she went on to say that while the current Labour government was, quote, engaging, but after discussions, essentially, they'd not really heard much. When you hear nothing, it's not very encouraging. I mean, look, it's a whole raft of issues that have reared their heads about the lack of action when it comes to Pakistani rape gangs in Britain in the last few months. Joining me now to discuss this is the CEO of Freedom from Abuse. It's Marilyn Hawes. Marilyn, thank you very, very much. So we've had several big stories on this week. Firstly, that the government can't find anyone, apparently, to basically chair its review into this. The victims had not had any meetings with the government. And then now we're hearing again the disappointment that none of the 20 recommendations into grooming gangs, or only 2 of them, sorry, have actually been implemented. Do you think that anyone in politics seriously wants to deal with this problem?
No, they don't. And if they want a chair, I'll do it. But they wouldn't want to employ me because I would do the deep dive and I would expose it. And this is what you're looking at. I mean, I'm not being funny. You know, never hear Keir. Where is he? That's what I call him. Never hear Keir. That's what I call him. You know, because whatever this is happening, and it's still happening today on an industrial level. These victims haven't been let down. They have been utterly betrayed. This government, typical lefty government, they do not want to deal with it. Had they wanted to deal with it, they would have dealt with it by now. They only said they'd have the inquiry because, thank goodness for Charlie Peters and GB News, you have pushed it and shamed them into doing it. But they don't want to do it. But any decent human being, anyone with any moral compass or any level of empathy or any conscience would want this to go forward and see it happen. But they don't want the real truth to come out. And that's the crux of it. They know the people, to me, without fear or favour, any councillor, any police officer, anyone whatsoever who got involved in this should be in court, shamed and put behind bars.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say is that Alexis J also, and rightly so, does blame the last Conservative administration. I mean, I think they were also quite useless when it came to this. And I've got a theory on this, is that they are very, very worried that they would have had to have paid all these victims a huge amount of compensation, and that might have ended up costing the country a lot of money, and they didn't want to do that. And I think that's a sad reality of it. But Marilyn, look, this Labour government, we're going to talk about it shortly, you know, they're not standing up to China at all. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous what's been going on when it comes to China. We're just seeing now that basically because of massive, massive pressure from, I'll just say it, huge aspects of the Pakistani and British Pakistani community in Birmingham, we're now not allowed to have Jewish football fans come and watch a game there. And now we've got this as well. I mean, Keir Starmer, it does not appear in any way willing to stand up for these victims, does he? And because I wonder whether or not he's too afraid of backlash from some sections of society.
Well, yes, that's absolutely true, but he shouldn't be, should he? If he was a man, I mean, you're a new young dad, and congratulations. If this was your little boy now, and you fast forward another 10 years, and he's a little boy that's been caught, because not just the girls, it's young boys as well. I mean, what would you want? I mean, if this was his children, anyone who is an ordinary, decent human being, but you are talking about these children, and it's past the, you know, the time when you can actually, you know, past 9 o'clock. So, you know, these children, it's beyond, it's more than child sexual abuse. I mean, they were being raped in the backs of cars and lay-bys, you know, by police themselves, in filthy hotels, on filthy mattresses, passed around like a tray of cakes, in taxis. I mean, it's absolutely appalling, and it's still going on. And don't anyone tell me that it's over. It's across the country, and Charlie Peters did a brilliant expose on it. But it's across from Cornwall all the way around the seaside resorts. And I'm not being funny. Some of these migrants are coming in, have been bought in by the gangs that are doing this, and they go into the black economy, whatever you call it, and they're hidden away. And so many Albanians that have come in over those boats are now part of these gangs, and the drugs and everything else. It is brutal, vile, and absolutely
I mean,
barbaric.
the public has a right to know. The public has a right to know the extent of things, or we have a right to know about it.
Yes.
The news, in a nutshell, the news this week from the kind of 3 separate grooming gang stories has been that we find ourselves, however many months it is on from Labour being dragged kicking and screaming into having an inquiry, we find that we are no further along, and it's, well, it's not shocking actually, is it? It was all too predictable. But Marilyn, can I just say a massive thank you to you? It's always a pleasure. I know I'll talk to you again very soon on this. Marilyn Horse, CEO of Freedom from Abuse. Now, we did ask the Home Office to comment on this, but they did not respond to us. So I have got some pretty big stories coming for you in the next few minutes. Here's a flavour. So are you? We're just here to have a look at the computers.
Computers?
Yeah, we just got a call back to base just to say that there's been an issue with some of the software. I think they should be expecting me. Yeah, so today, the Prime Minister continued with what many people find an absolutely unbelievable line of approach when it comes to the China spy scandal and the level of Chinese hacking in Britain. I decided to go undercover at the Chinese embassy today and basically give them a taste of their own medicine. All of that, as well as tomorrow's newspaper front pages, next.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again. Very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. For many, it is going to be dry as we go through the rest of today and into tomorrow, though pretty cloudy and quite grey as well. That's because the high pressure, which is keeping things dry and also leading to the calm winds, is trapping some moisture. So the cloud, it's not really going to go anywhere particularly fast. That being said, there are some breaks around across some central southern parts of Scotland into northern England, perhaps some southeastern parts of England and to western Wales. We'll see some breaks in the cloud, and where we get those breaks, well, temperatures could take a bit of a drop, could be a touch of frost, also some fog patches, so watch out for those. But most places sticking with that blanket of cloud, so temperatures not dropping much under that. There will be a few spots of rain here and there overnight, and that's the same as we go into tomorrow morning, particularly across northern and eastern parts of Scotland. A bit damp for some here. Further west and across southern parts of Scotland as well, largely dry but grey and cloudy to start the day. Similar across Northern Ireland and also similar across much of England and Wales, albeit, yes, there could be a few pockets of mist and fog around and some brighter breaks across perhaps some eastern, southeastern parts of England, but also a little bit of damp weather too around coastal parts towards both the east and also around some parts of the southwest. A few outbreaks of drizzly rain quite likely. Otherwise, it's again looking quite similar to today really for many. So quite grey, quite cloudy, limited bright spells developing, where you get some sunshine, feeling warmish I suppose, but temperatures around average and feeling quite cool under the cloud. A similar day on offer as we go into Saturday as well, at least to start. Later on, we are going to see some wetter weather pushing across initially Northern Ireland, but that is going to feed its way eastwards as we go through the latter part of the weekend. So Saturday, yes, largely dry but grey and cloudy. By Sunday, things are looking wetter and windier with more showery rain to come on Monday. Bye-bye.
Expect warm spells with the odd rude interruption. Box Boiler sponsors the weather on GB News.
There's just 3 weeks left to see how you could be our biggest winner this year. First, you could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxury vehicle comfortably sleeps 4, has its own fitted kitchen and bathroom areas, and comes complete with fitted awning and bicycle rack. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m. weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Join me, Nana Akweer, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, though.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Decisions made in Washington aren't just shaping America, they're shaping Britain too. From migration to global security, from crime to health. Whatever happens in the White House today
will be felt in your town or city tomorrow.
That's why The Late Show is live from Washington, D.C.
Cutting through the politics to show you what it all means for Britain.
The Late Show live every night at midnight.
Only on GB News,
Britain's news channel.
In the GB Newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK, we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News, the People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m.
only on GB News.
It's 10 p.m. I'm Patrick Christys. Tonight.
When it comes to China, the UK needs to defend itself resolutely against threats and seize the opportunities that demonstrably serve our nation.
The Chinese have been spying on us, so I took revenge. Today, we just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets, that's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are? They hacked our computers, but two can play at that game. We're just here to have a look at the computers. Computers? Yeah, we just got a call back to base just to say that there's been an issue with some of the software. I think they should be expecting me. And I have mastered the art of spycraft. The Yangtze River is running upstream today. No? No? Have you got the package? In other news.
I've started a petition to boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv. There is no space for violence or any thugs to come into Aston or indeed Birmingham. That is why I urge everyone to sign up to this petition. Boycott Maccabi Tel Aviv.
Shocking. Believe it or not, that is a member of the Gaza Gang MPs in Parliament. Now, no Israeli fans can travel to Birmingham because police can't guarantee their safety. Just on this, I'm also getting told that, obviously, the royal family, or certainly Prince William, is an Aston Villa fan and may well be about to attend the game because it's a Europa League match. It's a big game. You might go to it. We're being told that Kensington Palace is declining to comment on whether or not they think that the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans should have been banned. I don't know. Might be an opportunity to stand up for British values, that. But anyway, in other news, breaking tonight, President Donald Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, who later became his critic, has been charged with the transmission and retention of national defence information. I'll have more on that, as well as all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. On my panel tonight, we have got broadcaster Linda Jubilee, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes, Ellie Wheatley, and ex-Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. So get ready, Britain. Here we go. I go to war with the Chinese embassy. Next.
Good evening. The top story tonight at 10. We'll start with a recap of that breaking news. We had just heard from Patrick that Donald Trump's former national security advisor, John Bolton, has been indicted on federal charges over allegations of sharing classified information. The Justice Department presented evidence to a grand jury in Maryland which agreed there was enough evidence to indict the 76-year-old. It follows FBI raids on Bolton's home and office in August, part of an investigation that began after his 2020 memoir accused the now US president of putting re-election above national security. Bolton was denied and has denied any wrongdoing, but Mr. Trump has branded him a liar and grossly incompetent. He is now the third of Trump's political rivals to face charges in recent weeks, including former FBI Director James Comey. So just to recap, that breaking news just coming into us from the United States, that Donald Trump's former national security advisor John Bolton has tonight been indicted on federal charges over those allegations of sharing classified information via email to his wife and daughter. Also breaking tonight from the United States, Donald Trump has said he has made great progress with Vladimir Putin after a 2-hour call between the two leaders. They've agreed to meet in Budapest in Hungary for a sit-down that Mr. Trump says he hopes could bring the war to an end. Their call also set up high-level talks next week, led by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio. The US president says he will brief the Ukrainian president tomorrow at the White House and still believes he can get both men in the same room. Ukraine's president will be there seeking fresh US support after Russia launched one of its biggest overnight assaults, more than 300 drones and 37 missiles. Well, earlier, Mr. Trump warned he could send long-range Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine if Vladimir Putin refuses peace talks. And if approved, that move would put Moscow and other major Russian cities within striking range. Here, MI5's boss has said the agency is facing one of the most dangerous periods since 9/11, with near-record levels of terror investigations and fast and rising threats from hostile states. Ken McCallum warned state actors from China, Russia and Iran are stepping up espionage, with MI5 disrupting Chinese activity of, he said, national security concern in just the past week. Well, in his annual speech, McCallum also said MI5's mission has undergone its biggest shift in more than 2 decades.
MI5's fight against terrorism remains intense. My teams are running near-record volumes of investigations. But we are also having to contend with a second menace of equal or even greater scale in fast-rising state threats. In 2025, a more hostile world is forcing the biggest shifts in MI5's mission since 9/11.
Well, that comes as MPs have launched a formal inquiry into the collapsed China spy case as pressure is mounting on the government to explain what went wrong. The Joint Committee on National Security Strategy says it will examine how the case was handled and the national security questions it's now raised. It follows the Prime Minister releasing 3 witness statements from the case after being accused of a cover-up. He insists it would have been absurd for him to intervene in a CPS investigation. The 2 men accused have both denied any wrongdoing. Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride gave us his thoughts this morning.
National security advisor, you would think, would be across something as significant as this, but the suggestion is that it was all sort of weighted or focused on his deputy, a civil servant. And I think most people would say that just sounds totally incredulous. Look, it does feel a bit like a cover-up. We've had a Prime Minister that just 48 hours ago was telling us that the evidence that's now been released could not be released, and yet changed his position yesterday on Prime Minister's questions. What we are saying is let's get to the bottom of exactly what happened. Let's have that information. Let's have the correspondence, the memos, etc. Around this activity so that we can make a proper assessment.
And Sir Keir Starmer has said that banning Israeli fans from Aston Villa's Europa League match is the wrong decision after police blocked Maccabi Tel Aviv supporters from attending over safety fears. The Prime Minister said in a social media post that the UK will not tolerate anti-Semitism, while critics across the political spectrum have branded the move a national disgrace and shameful. West Midlands Police deemed the fixture high risk, citing violent clashes and hate crimes during a similar match last year in Amsterdam. Jewish groups called the ban perverse, urging officials to ensure Jewish fans can safely attend matches rather than exclude them. The decision comes amid renewed efforts to tackle anti-Semitism following the Manchester synagogue terror attack and a surge in hate crime figures. Those are your 10 o'clock headlines. I'll be back for one more update at 11.
Yes, welcome along. Look, you might have just been hearing there a little bit about the fact that Maccabi Tel Aviv football fans have been banned from going to Birmingham. The message there really is that Jews are no longer safe in Birmingham. What's happened, as we understand it, is that the local council, Labour Council, Can't Take Your Bins Out Council, has decided that they didn't want the Tel Aviv fans there. We all know the real reason, and it's not about safety. The Metropolitan Police, the West Midlands Police, have then gone along with that. There's another dimension to this, which is that Prince William is an Aston Villa fan, a big Aston Villa fan. It was a Europa League game. Was he due to attend that game? Will Kensington Palace now come out and speak out about this? Or will they just try to ignore it, try to ignore the fact that there appears to be a huge problem when it comes to multiculturalism in Birmingham that has led to it not being safe for Jewish fans to attend a game? Will the Palace stay silent on that? I wonder. But let's just crack on with the show as planned for now, because I want to know, whose side is our government on? Today, the head of MI5 said he was frustrated that the China spy trial inexplicably collapsed under this Labour government.
So, of course, our preference always is to effect the most enduring disruption we can when prosecutions and convictions happen. That's great. So, yes, we are frustrated when those things don't happen. Like, this is not unique. There are sometimes reasons why prosecutions don't work.
He also dropped the bombshell that MI5 has thwarted a major Chinese threat in the last week.
The UK-China relationship is, by its nature, complex, but MI5's role is not. We detect and deal robustly with activity threatening UK national security. MI5 will keep doing what the public would expect of us, preventing, detecting and disrupting activity of national security concern. Our track record is strong. We've intervened operationally again just in the last week, and we will keep doing so.
Just to give you an idea of how bad the China spy issue is, yesterday it was revealed that China reportedly hacked the UK government. A Chinese-owned company was given a contract relating to Britain's critical national infrastructure. It's believed they accessed diplomatic messages from Britain's ambassadors all around the world, details of military operations from us and our allies, and other info that could damage the resilience of our security and national infrastructure. The Chinese state is also accused of hacking the NHS. Are our medical records at risk? They hacked the Electoral Commission in 2021 and had access to 40 million voters. They also breached the Ministry of Defence's payroll system. So successive governments have known this, especially top-level civil servants. So which is what makes it so confusing, doesn't it? The collapse of the Chinese spy case. Now, I'm going to outline for you what Sir Keir Starmer's position is and see whether or not you believe this, OK? Here it is. That the Deputy National Security Advisor, Matthew Collins, was asked to give additional evidence on this spy trial to the Crown Prosecution Service about the threat that China poses. Collins allegedly didn't discuss this with his boss or any Labour minister. Collins included a segment of the Labour Party manifesto in his statement to the Crown Prosecution Service, again, without asking anyone in the Labour Party about this. The Crown Prosecution Service told him that they needed just a little bit more information to prosecute. He apparently decided not to provide that evidence. Keir Starmer was told the trial was about to collapse. He apparently didn't ask why. He also didn't seem to ask if anything could be done to stop that collapse, and it seems he didn't even ask to see the statements provided to the Crown Prosecution Service by the Deputy National Security Advisor. Do you believe that? Seriously? Does he think we're born yesterday? And today, we're told that Housing Minister Steve Reed has delayed the decision to approve or reject Beijing's application for a 600,000 square foot mega embassy near the Tower of London. Why? So, we've given the Chinese access to our government secrets, then covered it up when they hacked it. The Chinese have hacked the NHS, the Ministry of Defence and the Electoral Commission, and we've still not called them an enemy. Charges were dropped against 2 alleged Chinese spies. Sir Keir Starmer is giving us a ridiculous explanation that many people just don't believe, and we've delayed a decision that could block them from building a 600,000 square foot mega embassy in central London. Look, I'm sorry, but what is really going on here? Is the British state working for us, or are they working for the Chinese? Let's get the thoughts of my panel. We've got journalist and broadcaster Linda Jubilee, senior reporter at Guido Fawkes Daily Weekly, former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser. Linda, this just doesn't add up. Are we being run by the Chinese communists or something?
Yeah, it kind of looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, you can imagine the frustration for Sir Ken McCallum, you know, over at Thames House, on a daily basis trying to hold back the tsunami of Chinese efforts to infiltrate this country's organisations. And Sir Keir Starmer is just kind of... He's just blowing it away, just wiping it away, just kicking it into the long grass. This is an incredibly serious story, and it's got legs and it will run and run now. I just think that now that the British public has kind of got its head around it, because actually what happened to start with is that everyone got confused by the technicalities. Yes. But actually, it's a very simple story to understand. We know that our security agencies describe China as the enemy. The threat is the enemy. That's it. Now we need to pay attention to this. I mean, it's the age-old balancing act between what is acceptable in terms of national security and what we need to have in terms of an economic relationship. And they're dancing on a pinhead about it right now. We do have some very, very tough decisions ahead of us, but we cannot do a modern-day kowtow to the Chinese government.
Yeah, I mean, Sir Keir Starmer took the knee for Black Lives Matter. Now he's doing it to Beijing, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he has so many questions to answer over this collapse of the spy case. So firstly, the civil servant that provided the written statements using political language, which former civil servants have come out and said it's just inconceivable that Matthew Collins did not discuss this with other Labour ministers. But also, let's not forget, Jonathan Powell, the National Security Advisor, has been accused of torpedoing the trial, so not to embarrass the Chinese whilst the UK is trying to rebuild a relationship with China. So what is Starmer not saying here? Because he's refusing to release correspondence between the CPS and the government. Also, the minutes of the meetings that Jonathan Powell was in September before the case collapsed. There are a whole load of questions here, and it's about a cover-up, because, you know, the cover-up gets an administration. You know, and there's one argument that... It's about economic cooperation and growth, and rather than national security. You know, you can argue which one is more valuable, but you've got to be transparent about it. And listen, it's not the only time, by the way, that the Labour government has been cozying up with Beijing, surrendering British territory.
Mind you,
allies.
Successive governments have done it.
Yeah.
I mean, and actually, it has gone on for decades.
Yeah.
I was a foreign correspondent in Hong Kong, frequently in China, Fox News, and it was going on then, and that was decades ago.
But then this is what is so maddening, which is that why did we allow a Chinese-run company. There's no such thing as an independent Chinese company. They're all ultimately accountable to the Communist Party. Why did we allow a Chinese company to have unfettered access to basically the bunker of Downing Street? I mean,
I do not understand that.
Utter lunacy. Just on this, the Westminster latest opinion...
I'm not a member of the Chinese Communist Party.
Absolutely, although I did catch you singing the Chinese national anthem outside of...
As I walked across the bridge, I thought nobody could hear.
I might ask you to repeat it. So, look, I've just got the latest polling data here. Westminster voting intention, Reform at 32%, the Tories at 17%, Labour now at 15%. And it's because of stuff like this. People do not believe Sir Keir Starmer, do they? They think he's lying.
Look, I think that the government has got to come up with some clearer answers. I'm not sure that it's answered all of the many questions that are out there by releasing one set of evidence from the controversial civil servant, mostly controversial because ministers keep accusing him of being the root of the trial collapse. I don't think it was very controversial before that. I mean, you know, no Labour MP seeing that poll is going to be very happy because there aren't going to be very many Labour MPs if that poll is translated into reality. And so clearly they want Number 10 to be a better operation, and one of those things about being better is being clearer.
Yeah. No, does no one else find this utterly terrifying, that we can have a foreign power that can hack our health service, our defence, our electoral commission, possibly even, well, literally Downing Street, but maybe also every single piece of technology. Maybe
imagine when digital ID comes in, right? Imagine when digital ID comes in.
Quite. And we are so scared of them as a country that we are still not calling them out. What do the Chinese have on us? What is it? What is their power over this government, over the last government? Why can't people call it out?
I think that the thing about the Chinese economy, it's the second biggest economy in the world right now, and it will be the biggest economy. And that means it's got tremendous leverage, and it will continue having tremendous leverage. I mean, when you think about what they actually did in the middle of the last century, the transformation that has gone on in that country at the cost of millions and millions of lives they've been prepared to sacrifice for this, and they have a very clear vision and they have a long-term vision about what they're going to do, and they are pursuing it. It's not a mystery. They're pursuing it, and we are kowtowing.
Exactly. And again, this is the ridiculous thing that we do as a country, do it time and time again, which is that we look at these countries all around the world and we go, oh, if we bring them in from the cold, they will eventually succumb to our lovely, fluffy, liberal values. And it turns out that the Chinese saw a massive weakness and went along with it for a bit and then literally infiltrated all of our lives.
You see, we've got to understand the Chinese mindset. The Chinese...
Domination.
That is exactly right. The Chinese call themselves the Middle Kingdom because they believe they're actually between heaven and earth. The rest of us are over there. Chinese are up there. That's what they think.
I think it's a lesson, Ellie, isn't it, for which is stop trying... Just sometimes when you get an idea about who people are, just believe them.
Yeah,
that's right.
I totally agree. And now the Starmer's been quite pathetic in saying, oh, we'll delay the decision for the mega embassy till December.
Dear me.
What? Just say no. You're in the middle of a huge
understand
scandal.
I mean,
Chinese spies, alleged spies.
If you look at the floor plan, the basement has all been redacted out. Now what?
Right, they've redacted out the basement.
So what's going on in there?
That's terrifying.
I think we need the naivety that all governments, as you were saying, Linda, all governments have had towards China. And we had remember that under Cameron Osborne, who were very pro, basically traded just to get direct flights from China to Manchester Airport. He kind of allowed Chinese investment in a nuclear power station. Now that has, I think, been taken out mostly now. But at one stage it was literally anything you want, you can have it because we've got to be open to the world. Of course, we have to engage with China. It is a huge economy, but we have to get rid of the naivety.
Can survive this?
Yes, but we're going to have some answers. So I mean, we need some more answers if he's going to.
Do you think this might bring him down, Ellie?
Probably not. He survives so much. I mean, this is just a long list.
Yeah, this specifically might not bring him down, but it has led to a real poor perception of him, widespread perception of him that he cannot be trusted. That might bring him down.
Well, there we go. Well, let's wait and see. Watch this space now. Now, as I've been telling you, I decided, in case you couldn't tell, a bit sick of the Chinese government. So I decided earlier on that I was going to go down to the Chinese embassy and try to play them at their own game. I'll show you what happened shortly. But it is, of course, the latest Great British giveaway. Wads of cold, hard, tax-free cash and a massive motorhome. So you stack it up in the motorhome if you want. Who's going to be in it to win it?
You're not going to want to miss our greatest Great British giveaway so far. You could bank an incredible £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. And if that wasn't enough, you'll also get to drive away in this brand new motorhome. With thanks to Marquis Leisure, this brand new 2025 Benamar Primero could be yours. It comes with all the mod cons you'd expect from a vehicle worth over £74,000 and comfortably sleeps 4 people. This prize package is worth over £104,000. And remember, if you can dream it, you can drive it away. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrants must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. The winner will be contacted live on GB News, week commencing 10th November. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand. Good luck.
Coming up, all of tomorrow's newspaper front pages breaking tonight. Kensington Palace are refusing to confirm whether or not Prince William will attend Aston Villa's Europa League match next month, which, of course, Jewish football fans have just been banned from attending. I've got a feeling this might be about to get very, very tricky for the Prince and for the royal family. More on that shortly. But before that, it's the moment at least some of you might have been waiting for. The ambassador, we just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets. That's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are? China has been spying on us with impunity for years. In fact, it turns out that they hacked Downing Street, they hacked the NHS, and as we just found out, they tried to do a massive hack last week that MI5 stopped. Well, today, I got a bit of revenge. 2 can play at that game, China. That's next.
Westminster, the ultimate clique. And you're fighting like rats in a sack. But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask. OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician. Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off-limits. You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless. But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show. Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
In most cases, adoption is really great. We've got an amazing adoption system here in the UK with really fantastic charities. We've seen about 1 in 20 dogs being adopted. Lots of people during COVID went out and bought lots of dogs. We had a huge increase in the dog population. And then those people went back to work, and some of them couldn't care for their dogs anymore. So the dog charities are literally chock-a-block. They're all fully booked up with their spaces. When you go and see that dog, I think you can get a feeling yourself of, you know, how that dog is with you, that instant love and affection that you get from that dog. So use your heart and save a dog.
And also take the advice, I think, of the people at the rescue centre. There was one that I really fancied because it was prettier than the one that they were recommending to me. And I said, oh, no, what?
Shallow.
Oh, that one. And they said, no, you're a first-time owner. That dog is not for you. That dog is a very high-maintenance dog, needs a very, very experienced owner. And they gave me the right one.
It's just coming up to the Christmas period where people make emotional decisions about pets for a family.
And a dog is not just for Christmas, it's for life. And it's a lifelong commitment. You know, dogs are with us, and some of them are needy and some of them are more independent. If you give your dogs lots of love, you exercise them well, you feed them well, you're able to leave them for, you know, short periods of time. But if you are at work for 8-10 hours a day, it's just too long to leave a dog for. So, you know, really keep that in mind, that, you know, is that dog going to work for you in your life? Saying that, you know, dogs bring you so much. They're going to make you live longer. They're going to, you know, they're so good for you sort of health-wise. They're going to take you out for a walk every day. They're going to take you out in nature.
GB News, the People's Channel.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our loyal community. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/yoursay. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/yoursay, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys tonight. Now, as you've been hearing this evening, the Chinese have been spying on us, but two can play at that game. I was a little bit sick of the fact that we appear to have been allowing China to just spy on us and hack us with utter impunity for a very long period of time. So I thought I would pay a little visit to the Chinese embassy. I'm here outside the Chinese embassy. Loads of news flying around at the minute. It looks as though the Chinese have managed to hack into government computers and access state secrets with impunity for a very, very long period of time. The Chinese spy scandal is really coming to a head now. So what I thought I'd do is turn up here and try to get into the Chinese embassy to have a little look at their computers. Let's see if they'll let me. Hi lads, how are you? We're just here to have a look at the computers.
Computers?
Yeah, we just got a call back to base just to say that there's been an issue with some of the software. I think they should be expecting me.
No, they won't be expecting. If they did, they would let me know.
Could you just check with them? Is that all right?
They already told me there's no meetings today.
Oh, right, OK. It's a 2-minute job, but once we're in at the end of the day, aren't we?
Yeah,
forever. So that's it now. No
if you
chance.
want, you're more than welcome to make an appointment online.
No, well, they called us, you see, that's the thing. They said that because we're friends, as British people, we're friends of them, it's not going to be a problem if we're allowed into their computer systems. Look, the worst thing in the world, what we would hate is if you guys got hacked. Because, I mean, anything can get out then, can't it? Anything, diplomatic channels, nuclear launch codes, private communications between prime ministers, top levels of state, spies.
What's the number? What's the number for the reception?
What's the number?
007, 007, 007?
007, 007, 007.
Is that right? That's the one, is it?
007.
Fantastic.
You can go online and email them. Yeah, email them
and those emails are secure, are they?
Don't know.
Don't know. Oh, well, that's what we're here to try and make sure it doesn't happen. Well, look, good luck. Stay safe, won't you?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
It'd be terrible if anyone got hacked. Well, we haven't had much luck trying to get in to have a look at the computers, but I've got a box here of not British secrets, and I'm hoping that I might be able to find someone in the embassy who can hand-deliver this to the ambassador for me. Hi, sir. Sorry to bother you. I just wondered, could you just give this... It's not British secrets. That's all it is. Sorry, sir. Could you just go in there for me, just see the ambassador? We just want to give him a box of not British secrets. I know, but it's not British secrets. That's the thing. Do you only accept boxes that are? I've just got a box of not British secrets here. Is it possible to give it to you, just so you can give it to the ambassador? They're definitely not British secrets. Can I give that to you? Is that all right? No? All right. I tell you what, sir, what about this? It's just an envelope. It's top secret stuff on it. No? Just got some top secret information here about the British. I just want to try to give it to the ambassador. Can you? Is that all right? Do you mind? No? It's a lot easier to get into our systems than yours, isn't it? Nobody appears to be interested in the not British secrets box or the top secrets envelope that we've had. So I'm going to just see if I can leave this on the doorstep there. But what I've done is I've brought with me a very high-tech listening device. And I'm hoping that we might be able to just see what we can get. A bit of revenge for the British state. Just leave it there. Just while I'm here, is there any chance I can just have a little listen in? Gosh. Access to everything in number 10. Remarkable. What, we just gave it to him? Oh, there's top secrets in there, mate. They're not going to be... I tell you what, he's not going to be happy with you. Mate, he's not going to be happy with you. You're going to destroy all the British secrets. I'll just leave this here. There you go. All right. See you, lads. Well, since we've been here at the Chinese embassy, armed police have turned up. Fascinating, really, because it would appear that we're guarding Chinese state secrets better than we're guarding our own. Hello, sir. How are you? Are you all right? Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad.
Good stuff.
Christ, what are you up to?
Yeah, I'm doing a show for GB News. Obviously, we're just here to report on all the Chinese spying.
We've had a complaint from the embassy.
Have you?
Yes, just regarding some of the behaviours going on.
Oh, OK. What the Chinese did was hack into all of our phones, emails, government documents, diplomatic wires, but they are quite angry with me coming here and trying to talk to people.
And no trying to gain access to the premises.
No, we'll never try to gain access.
Obviously, trespassing onto diplomatic premises.
I mean, that would be absolutely awful if someone allowed themselves into the diplomatic space without permission, wouldn't it?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So, I won't do anything that they don't want. All right, mate. Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you.
Rolling.
I'm at a park just at the back of the Chinese embassy, a known hotspot for their diplomats to hang out. So what I'm going to do is see if I can track one down and exchange some state secrets. Let's see what we can get. The Yangtze River is running upstream today, no? The Yangtze River is running upstream today. No? No? Have you got the package? You've not got the package? Are you not Red Panda? You're not Red Panda? Abort, abort, abort. He's not Red Panda, not Red Panda. All right. The weather in Beijing is very good this year.
Is it?
Yes.
Excellent.
Have you got the package?
I don't. Come on.
Are you not Red Panda? You're not Red Panda?
I'm not.
Okay. You never saw me. You never saw me. Well, no dice at the Chinese embassy, I'm afraid. I must say, I thought that was absolutely fantastic when the Chinese embassy called the armed police because they didn't like me asking their diplomats whether or not I could hand them a box of not British secrets. Bit cheeky, that, when you think about the sheer level of hacking that they've managed to do to the British state. But there we go. Also, when he said, you can't go into the diplomatic space without permission. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You're not supposed to do that kind of thing. Anyway, shifting tone now before I get to the front pages. A final reminder that we are giving away 1,000 exclusive GB News pin badges tonight. It's your last chance to win. This is not just a badge, of course. It's a symbol of what we stand for here at GB News. Free speech, open debate, fearless journalism. Wear it and show that you stand with us here at GB News and you share our values. There's no gimmicks. There's no hidden cost to this. We're just going to send out 1,000 of these badges at random to you, our brilliant viewers and listeners, to say thank you. There'll be a QR code that comes up on your screen. In fact, it's there. There you go. You can scan that QR code now. Don't miss out. Coming up, all of that newspaper front pages. And the breaking news this evening is, you might have heard already that basically Jews are now not welcome in Birmingham anymore because a load of people kicked off and said that we shouldn't have Israeli fans at an Aston Villa football match. Cheered on, by the way, by a load of Gaza Gang MPs. Anyway, Prince William is a big Villa fan. He might have been due to attend that football match. Apparently, Kensington Palace are not commenting on this at the moment. Can they sustain that position for long? Stay tuned.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Some showers heading over the Canaries over the next few days. We've seen some torrential downpours across parts of Spain and Italy recently. Things turning drier here, however. Plenty of sunshine for Spain and Portugal on Friday. And the sunshine returning to much of Italy. Still a few showers across the far south. The wet weather, though, is moving into Croatia and mainland Greece, although most of the Greek islands further east will be dry and sunny. And we'll see the sunshine returning to Dubrovnik through the weekend. Meanwhile, further showers likely in Tenerife.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News Travel Destinations forecast.
Hello again, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. For many it is going to be dry as we go through the rest of today and into tomorrow, though pretty cloudy and quite grey as well. That's because the high pressure, which is keeping things dry and also leading to the calm winds, is trapping some moisture, so the cloud, it's not really going to go anywhere particularly fast. That being said, there are some breaks around across some central southern parts of Scotland into northern England, perhaps some southeastern parts of England and to western Wales will see some breaks in the cloud. And where we get those breaks, well, temperatures could take a bit of a drop, could be a touch of frost, also some fog patches, so watch out for those. But most places sticking with that blanket of cloud, so temperatures not dropping much under that. There will be a few spots of rain here and there overnight, and that's the same as we go into tomorrow morning, particularly across northern and eastern parts of Scotland. A bit damp for some here. Further west and across southern parts of Scotland as well, largely dry but grey and cloudy to start the day. Similar across Northern Ireland and also similar across much of England and Wales, albeit, yes, there could be a few pockets of mist and fog around and some brighter breaks across perhaps some eastern, southeastern parts of England, but also a little bit of damp weather too around coastal parts towards both the east and also around some parts of the southwest. A few outbreaks of drizzly rain quite likely. Otherwise, it's again looking quite similar to today really for many. So quite grey, quite cloudy, limited bright spells developing, where you get some sunshine, feeling warmish I suppose, but temperatures around average and feeling quite cool under the cloud. A similar day on offer as we go into Saturday as well, at least to start. Later on, we are going to see some wetter weather pushing across initially Northern Ireland, but that is going to feed its way eastwards as we go through the latter part of the weekend. So Saturday, yes, largely dry but grey and cloudy. By Sunday, things are looking wetter and windier with more showery rain to come on Monday. Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation,
No,
Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I ever got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m, only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight. Let's give you the first look at tomorrow's newspaper front pages. The Independent, MI5 chief piles pressure on PM over spying crisis. The picture story there is one to look ahead to because it's President Trump and President Putin. Trump saying, I'll meet Putin in Budapest for a second summit on Ukraine war. Let's go to the Metro. Whose side are you on, Sir Keir? Oh, it's like they're listening to my 10 p.m. monologue. Storm grows over spy trial fiasco as MI5 chief confirms China is a threat. Let's go to the iPaper. MI5 chief warns UK of need to confront daily China spy threat. Yeah, absolutely. Will the government now press ahead with allowing a 600,000 square foot mega embassy in London? I suspect they probably will, actually. The Guardian. MPs press top prosecutor over collapse of spy case. See if they've got a couple of other stories on here. They've got the risk of serious injuries in childbirth on the rise. Grief, keep it light. I mean, we've got Israel and Hamas trade accusations as aid stalls, right? The Daily Express. Now, this is the one we're going to focus on. Ban on Israeli fans is, quote, a national disgrace. So, a decision has been made to ban Israeli football fans from coming to Birmingham because Aston Villa are playing Maccabi Tel Aviv in the Europa League. Now, the whole thing that this arose from initially was one of the Gaza Gang MPs, is a guy called Ayub Khan. He said that we should have a petition here to stop the Israeli fans coming. And they're trying to bracket it as though it's safety fears and all of this stuff, by trying to paint out that the Maccabi Tel Aviv fans are an especially violent bunch of thugs. I don't think it's about that. I think it's about not wanting Jews. And today, unfortunately, Birmingham Council, which is Labour-run, decided to cave to that. And the West Midlands Police then went along with that. And it is just today that the government's announced £10 million more to fight anti-Semitism, and then 4 hours later, Jews are banned from coming to Britain. So not really a great look, this. But there is a royal angle on this. I've got a couple of clips I want to play you in a second, by the way. But Prince William, who is also, as a matter of coincidence, on this front page, is a Villa fan and has attended some of their big European fixtures. And we went to Kensington Palace to ask for comment on this, because what's his view, you know? And Kensington Palace are, at the moment, declining to comment. Well, I do wonder whether or not the Royals should be commenting on something like this, Linda.
Well, they don't normally, but he also has a position at the FA, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But he's made no secret of his fanatical support for Aston Villa. When he was younger and he first started supporting them, I believe he said, you know, he turned away Man U and other big clubs because he wanted particularly to support a small club that needed, you know, needed his name behind it. I think now, when we've reached this...
There's Villa fans everywhere screaming at the telly now, going, we're not a small club, but go on, carry on.
Yeah, but he said they were.
Yeah.
I've got a view.
Yeah.
But I'm not on the size of the club anyway. Yeah. But I think that it should be that he says something here. Yeah, I think he definitely needs to step in and make a comment.
Well, he certainly can't go.
There are some... I understand that the Palace don't want to comment on some political issues, but I would say this is not a political issue.
No, it's not.
This is about British values and making people feel welcome and safe in our country, which is actually what the Royals should be standing for. And, you know, above this ban on Israel fans story is a story about William and how he inspired a woman to talk about her mental health struggles.
Yeah.
You know, so he gets involved in these sort of issues. So he absolutely should say something about it.
Just on this, again, because what has been claimed here... Now, I've said it before, I'll say it again. Amongst any cohort of football fans, you will get... like some thuggish behaviour. It's any fan base, there is a bit of that. I think we all understand that, and I'm not trying to say that every single person that supports Maccabi Tel Aviv is in some way this glowing beacon of hope and stability in the world. No. And I'm also not actually blaming Aston Villa fans for this, because I think we all know the real thing that would have happened is that a lot of members of the, let's just say, pro-Gaza community around Birmingham would have been the ones that would have turned up with no tickets to go to the Aston Villa game. They would have turned up, and I think we would have seen something like we saw in Amsterdam when Maccabi Tel Aviv played Ajax about a year ago. Here's what happened then.
Fils de pute! Charmota! Benzona!
Basically, that happened where a load of people who we don't actually necessarily think were Ajax fans, because there were WhatsApp messages that emerged where they happened to be people from the Middle East, basically, who lived around the Amsterdam area, had come in from out of town to just go and batter Israelis on the streets of Britain. And is the sad reality, Matthew, not that we probably would have seen that here?
Well, I mean, I think it's a sad possibility. Certainly it's a possibility, which is why the police have stepped in. But this cannot hold. I think by the morning we need to see something happening, which is probably if the police fear there's a genuine risk, then the game has to be moved. But you cannot have the situation where you just ban one. You ban the Israeli fans. Everybody else is allowed to go. And Mr. Gaza Independent has got away with basically bullying. With bullying.
A closed game.
Absolutely. Remember after the Heysel Stadium, all British European games were closed. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's just an uncomfortable reality. This is, I'm sorry to say, they can try and make it out like this if they want. This is not about football violence, right? This is not going to be, you know, two sets of football fans scrapping like they used to do, you know, all of that kind of stuff. It's not that. This is going to be people who don't like Jews trying to fight Jews on the streets of Britain.
And it kind of worries me. It won't stop at football. I mean, football's where the numbers are, but there's plenty of other events that can be
absolutely. I mean, there's there's an Israeli DJ's been banned from a trendy East London rave because ravers for Palestine say that he's from Tel Aviv. It is a thing. Yes, it is a thing.
Is it?
Yeah. No, it's actually. I didn't make it up.
Brilliant.
Oh, I thought you must have done.
Because actually, I was thinking of saying this. Outside the Chinese embassy earlier today, I was waiting for the... you know now we've got a ceasefire? I was waiting for the pro-Palestine lot to decide to go to the Chinese embassy. Because, you know, there's that genocide of Uyghur Muslims that's taking place in China. I was waiting there ages. No one turned up. No one...
Funny that, isn't it?
Weird. Where were you, you know?
Yeah, where were ravers for Palestine?
Where were ravers for Palestine outside the Chinese embassy? But anyway, oh, gosh, selective outrage. Right, coming up, we've got some more front pages for you. And on the front of the Daily Mail, oh, good, Prince Andrew has now been dragged into the China spy trial scandal. Well done, Andy. More on that next.
Britain was once the envy of the world. But look around. A nation that no longer knows what it is or where it's going. A country that's broken. How do we fix Britain? How do we bring it back? Friday night with Matt Goodwin at 8 p.m, only on GB News.
GB News Breakfast. Every day from 6 a.m.
The Horse Trust basically looks after retired working horses from the military, but also from police forces and from various charities like Riding for the Disabled. And it has, I think, something like 150 horses in its charge. It has been going indeed since, I think, 1905 or something like that. So it's an important charitable foundation run mainly by donations. And that's where Quaker, one of the 5 horses, as you mentioned, has gone to see out its days, out to pasture, if you like.
What happened on that day was really unusual, wasn't it? Because these horses are so well trained to keep calm, you know, in riots and goodness knows what. But something spooked them, and they ran for it, and they ran bumping into cars and trucks, which is why we saw blood coming from them as well. It's so unusual, but lovely to hear that he's retired instead of anything worse.
Oh, absolutely, yes. In fact, Quaker is the only one of the 5 horses that didn't return to military duties.
3 of those horses that did bolt returned to perform in the King's birthday parade last year and looked to me, because I saw it live, kind of perfectly happy and healthy.
Oh, you know, I think they're extremely well looked after, and there's a very strong bond between riders in the whatever regiment it is that the horses are assigned to, and their charges. And this goes back through history, and there are, if you look at the First World War, where, believe it or not, in 1917, there were 600,000 horses in service with the British Army through various theatres of war.
GB News, the People's Channel.
5 hosts, 5 opinions, 5 fearless debates, 5 unfiltered takes on the day's news.
5 reasons not to be anywhere else on Saturday night.
This is the Saturday 5. You got me. You got me good there. Britain's biggest Saturday night TV show.
It's not a bad brand.
Yeah. Uncensored.
Very, very racy tonight.
On the unpredictable.
What does she say? Can you translate it for us?
And always entertaining.
And how can a country go from being led by William Wallace Saturday nights from 6 p.m. only on GB News, the People's Channel.
Britain's news channel.
You're going to want to stay tuned, trust me.
Welcome back. I'll round you off with tomorrow's newspaper front pages, starting with The Times. China and MI5 berate Labour over spy case. There's also an interesting story here. State workers lean towards Britain's rival. So basically, public sector workers apparently view Britain less favourably than the rest of the public, and actually are more sympathetic towards Russia and China. So
and terror groups such as Hamas.
And Hamas. 8,000
people are surveyed on that.
Fantastic. That's
NHS, civil servants, all the rest.
The NHS
Surprise,
civil servants. Yeah. Brilliant. We'll return to that. The Daily Telegraph, again, MI5 dismayed by China spy fiasco. Also, I mean, I don't know if this is a shock or not, really, but Prince Andrew has apparently had meetings with a Chinese spy master, and there's, as ever with Andrew, a picture.
There's always a picture.
Yeah, you can never really deny it, can you?
So then you can go, also, at the bottom, a very serious story, this, but it's an active case. We won't comment on it, but 3 asylum seekers have been charged with rape, and it is from the Brighton area, as in they're not, obviously, but it was in the Brighton area. The Daily Mail, Andrew and spy chief at heart of China scandal. As Starmer's rebuked by MI5 boss over collapse case, now the shame Duke is dragged into the affair. The Sun, again, a very moving story. It's about Ricky Hatton, the late, great Ricky Hatton. Don't fight alone. As the inquest hears that, sadly, Ricky Hatton was found hanged, his devastated family urge others to get help. The Daily Mirror, China is a threat every single day. And there you go. There's also one there about Dev from Coronation Street apparently becoming a TV's ladies' man, but I'm not entirely sure that's true, but anyway, whatever. A bit of fake news on the front of the Mirror there. Right, OK, go on then. So Ellie, you've got your one here on the Times front page. It turns out that our state workers are basically a bunch of trots and terrorist sympathisers.
It's a team of behavioural science experts who basically surveyed 8,000 public sector workers, and it doesn't surprise me. And also, you know, when we see thousands of people crossing the channel and we see this border crisis that we have, you know, why is no one doing anything about it? The Blob, they have, you know, they're less sympathetic to viewing. They don't view Britain as favourably or care as much as the actual public do. I know
they're paid by Britain.
Why is the gap so big that I don't understand?
Yeah, I mean, this is actually shocking because we were told all the time that the public sector, the left hates its own country. I've always been able to rebut it. Sadly, this makes it more difficult.
Absolutely.
It's pretty shocking. The research, which included a survey of 8,000 people who work in the public sector, which I appreciate there's a lot of people that work in the public sector, but the people who do these polls try to get a sample, don't they, representative sample. Yeah, and there is, they're more sympathetic to Russia, China and Hamas than they are to the British state.
It's unbelievable.
It's really weird.
They are the British state.
Funded by viewers at home.
This is like one of the
we're almost lost for words.
Paid by taxpayers to work for the British state. They hate it. They hate us, and they prefer China, Russia, and Hamas.
I think they prefer them more than the average, not that they prefer them over Britain.
It says the findings seen by the Times show public sector workers express significantly more sympathy for groups using violence or illegal tactics in pursuit of political aims, including terrorist organisations.
We need to see a breakdown by their employer, because we need to see if the Home Office is particularly prevalent in this.
Absolutely.
In all seriousness, as I alluded to earlier, one of the things that Starmer did in his visit to the Jewish Community Safety School Trust today was charge the anti-Semitism czar, Lord Mann, who's a pretty tough cookie, with looking at anti-Semitism in the NHS, because clearly we've seen some absolutely hideous examples of the problem there, and that needs to be tackled.
The fact is we now have, and this confirms it in the most outrageous way possible, we now have a huge battle facing Britain, and unfortunately that battle comes from right at the heart of it, which is, you know, civil servants, NHS, public sector workers. By the way, not everyone at all. I've got huge numbers of public sector workers who will be watching this show right now. I appreciate that. But I think you will probably know better than I do about some of the challenges that you face with your colleagues at work. You know, trying to root those people out.
Root and branch reform is
going to be very tricky. Be very tricky, because as well, who has the greatest capacity to strike and cause a nuisance?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, and of course,
always striking, by the way.
And you know, I mean, public sector workers, I thought to lean to the left. I think most polling evidence, as well as anecdotal, says that. Yeah, I'm actually shocked that people have. It's one thing being on the left; it's another thing having anti-British feelings. So you know, come off it. You know, you've got to love your country, even if you don't like the some of the ways it's run.
Absolutely, guys. Look, thank you very, very much. It felt like a slightly chaotic show tonight, but in a good way, I think. I'm with you for another hour though, so buckle up for that. But we're going to be picking through all of the front pages, and what I'm going to do is, as well, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to find out some other stories that are on online news outlets that have just landed, and stories inside the book, because let's be honest with you, it's all China and we don't need to do a whole new hour of that. So I promise you I will liven it up a bit. But thank you very much to my wonderful panel. Thank you to you at home, and thank you to my overlords at the Chinese embassy. See you in a few minutes.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Hello again, very good evening to you. I'm here with your GB News weather forecast from the Met Office. For many it is going to be dry as we go through the rest of today and into tomorrow, though pretty cloudy and quite grey as well. That's because the high pressure, which is keeping things dry and also leading to the calm winds, is trapping some moisture, so the cloud, it's not really going to go anywhere particularly fast. That being said, there are some breaks around across some central southern parts of Scotland into northern England, perhaps some southeastern parts of England and to western Wales will see some breaks in the cloud, and where we get those breaks, well, temperatures could take a bit of a drop, could be a touch of frost, also some fog patches, so watch out for those. But most places sticking with that blanket of cloud, so temperatures not dropping much under that. There will be a few spots of rain here and there overnight, and that's the same as we go into tomorrow morning, particularly across northern and eastern parts of Scotland. A bit damp for some here. Further west and across the southern parts of Scotland as well, largely dry but grey and cloudy to start the day. Similar across Northern Ireland and also similar across much of England and Wales, albeit, yes, there could be a few pockets of mist and fog around and some brighter breaks across perhaps some eastern, southeastern parts of England, but also a little bit of damp weather too around coastal parts towards both the east and also around some parts of the southwest. A few outbreaks of drizzly rain quite likely. Otherwise, it's again looking quite similar to today really for many. So quite grey, quite cloudy, limited bright spells developing, where you get some sunshine, feeling warmish I suppose, but temperatures around average and feeling quite cool under the cloud. A similar day on offer as we go into Saturday as well, at least to start. Later on, we are going to see some wetter weather pushing across initially Northern Ireland, but that is going to feed its way eastwards as we go through the latter part of the weekend. So Saturday, yes, largely dry but grey and cloudy. By Sunday, things are looking wetter and windier with more showery rain to come on Monday. Bye-bye.
Today's outlook: cool, calm and completely horizontal. Boxed Aircon sponsors the weather on GB News.
Let's get stuck into these front pages then. So, yep, lots on China, absolutely, and the pressure on Keir Starmer. New line is the pressure on Prince Andrew, because classic, wherever there's a scandal, Prince Andrew is almost like he sniffs them out and then takes a picture there as evidence. So he's done that again. Also, state workers, people who work in the NHS, people who work in the police, people who work in the civil service, people who work in teaching, etc., etc. Turns out a new stat has proven that they are more likely to support China, Russia and Hamas and less likely to support Britain. That's great, isn't it? Country's knackered.
There's just 3 weeks left to see how you could be our biggest winner this year. First, you could be driving away with this brand new Benamar Primera motorhome. This luxury vehicle comfortably sleeps 4, has its own fitted kitchen and bathroom areas, and comes complete with fitted awning and bicycle rack. And that's not all, as we'll also give you a whopping £30,000 in tax-free cash to spend however you like. For another chance to win, text WIN to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message, or text BONUS to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB16 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 31st of October. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk now?
No, that's it. This is where it matters, real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
In fact, has Trump made a good start? No.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up? About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
In the GB newsroom, we bring you the news as it happens.
With our team of dedicated journalists across the UK,
we're ready to keep you up to date with what's happening every half an hour, every single day. Bulletins here on GB News.
The People's Channel,
Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it? Because the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff.
Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood.
So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel. Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it. That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
No, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Well, this is Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. Let's have a little look, shall we, at some of those newspaper front pages for you. Here's something to articulate it.
You a football fan yourself?
Yes, Eugene. So,
well, who's your team?
I support Aston Villa.
Excellent news for the people of Birmingham. We all watched and listened to those vile chants of hatred and racism. And so there's no space for that kind of behaviour here in Birmingham.
Well, it's on the front of tomorrow's Daily Express. Ban on Israeli fans is, quote, a national disgrace. It's about much more than just football, this. In fact, I would argue it's not really about football at all. It appears now that Birmingham has essentially banned Jewish football fans. It's an utter disgrace, and it is, of course, cheered on by the Gaza Gang